Alright, today we're going to start a painting. It has kind of a lake scene here. It's going to have reflections of the water. I'm not drawing that in first because you can just freehand that. I had to kind of scale in the sailboat, so I did a little bit of drawing here. We got two sail. I might simplify it to one. I mean, two is more accurate, but one just looks fine in a painting. And then we have a kind of a mountain background here. There's going to be snow melt inside of the mountain, so that'll be kind of an interesting gray-white, and then they're going to have a white streak. And as well, we'll have kind of a clear blue sky. I might change that to a sunset or a little bit more interesting, but we'll see.
Why did Picasso develop Primitivism?
Alright, let's run through the colors. Titanium white, Mars black, phthalo green, quin blue, ultramarine blue, yellow ochre, Van Dyke brown, burnt umber, primary yellow, quin red, roller red. For the painting one, what we've done here, it's still wet, so it's going to dry a little differently. We just laid in kind of the really basic turquoise water. We're going to have to add dark blue and lighter blue to get the reflections off the sky. So right now the water just looks still, and we need to make it choppy because it is in waves, and that sailboat's going to create waves, so there has to be at least waves here, but it makes more sense to have waves in the foreground as well. I got the mountains initially laid out. It's about the right tone, which is this really kind of neutral gray steel blue color. I've added in a little bit of preliminary snow in there. I mean, that's kind of a little rough. I still need to add the shadow and the lights of the mountains a little bit more. There should be a little bit darker, and then, you know, dark highlight. I need to kind of do that maybe 2 times. I got the initial cut of the sky, which is going to be this neutral light blue up to a little fuller blue sky. So we need to do that at least twice. So I just went ahead and wiped out the sails. I'll have to measure and redraw that. It just makes more sense to have this nice clean sky before you do the sails. As long as you do the sails right, it's much easier than trying to cut the sky around this the sails. Just paint this sky straight across. You're going to get these really nice smooth effects, and that'll look a lot nicer in your painting.
So Primitivism is the influence of African artwork in Europe, and basically it was kind of a precursor to Cubism by what Picasso developed, and it's the use of all these African masks put into kind of a Western art theory. And so it's kind of like rejecting all the artwork from before from Europe and then going to this primitive artwork. And the interesting thing is the only reason that kind of came about was because Europe was able to conquest Africa. Before, Africa had been unconquerable mainly because of disease. So you would arrive, show up and get malaria and die off, right? So with modern medicine, it allowed the Europeans to actually conquer Europe and bring these mysterious African masks to Europe. In this case, the capital of art at the time, Paris, which greatly influenced Picasso and his great painting, the Mademoiselle. I think it's in the New York Met, if I'm not mistaken. And that's my question of the day.
All right, we just finished the painting. Let's take a closer look. So this nice blue neutral sky. So the sailboat's on a nice kind of lake. It's just chilling there. Nice red boat to kind of contrast. I think it's white in the original, but white's a really lame color. I mean, if you got paint, man, you just change the color, man. That's what I'm doing. So I just added the red in there. I think it pops on the turquoise water. The water's pretty good. In the background, I'm not sure. Maybe I should have made it more darker blue because of the way the wavelengths are going to bounce off the water versus the near ground. But I just left it as is. The mountains aren't super great, but I just kind of fed up with them. I could play around with that more, but it's a $1 painting. Anyway, hope you guys like it. Give me a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, you can subscribe below. And I'll see you in the next painting. Thanks for watching, guys.